What is falsely seen as a sign of maturity? My family thinks I am skirting responsibility by not having kids. I know a lot of people who had them thinking they were obligated to, and neglect them. I remember telling somebody I know from college I don't want them ever, and she said, "My boyfriend's not afraid to take responsibility and have kids." As if I wasn't a real man for not having them lol. For some, it's a sign of virility and maturity. My family thinks it's a travesty that I don't ever want children. My mom always thought I was just being young and angsty and would change my mind. Now that I'm in my 30s, she's given up on that. I truly don't understand how most people can even afford to have children anymore and provide them anything else except the bare ass minimum to sustain life. Everything is so much more expensive than it was when I was a kid, and the wages are about the same. Money just doesn't go as far as it used to, and it's getting harder and harder to build up and acquire credit to actually own a house or anything like that. Well, some overwork to gain more and more money, which in their eyes and other, to be honest, does make them superior. The problem is that never ends. So you work extra and it puts you ahead of person X, but then you are right below person Y. So you work more or gain something more to get ahead of person Y. And then it repeats, because one you get ahead of person X and then Y. You see them as below you and you belong with person W. So you can't ever be satisfied or happy, and you want more and more shit every income level you move up. As someone from the UK, I can't understand the 60+ hour work weeks. I work 36.5 hours a week, and at my place full time is considered 37.5 hours a week, and you can't do any more than that as it's against the rules too. If you do end up doing more than your contracted hours, it's time and a half for every extra hour you do, which sometimes happens around Christmas if overtime is available, and if you want to do it, edit. All these answers have been very insightful, thank you. The Magician's Nephew is a masterpiece, best book of the series. It's just too bad none of the attempts to bring the stories to movies have managed to stay profitable long enough to get there. I really thought the Disney version starting in 2005 would do it. Their version of LWW was great, but then Caspian and Dawn Treader were so ho-hum, which is bonkers because those books are so much more amenable to filming than LWW, which has very little action. The Stone Table makes a great book set piece but a boring movie set, ya know? In my darkest hours I literally live for a line from The Horse and His Boy, from memory. As long as you're alive there is hope, but all the dead are dead alike. It's been a long time so I don't remember it well, but the spirit of Puddle-Eglam's speech in defiance of the evil queen at the end of Prince Caspian always lifts me up too. Yikes. It has been a long time. Puddle-Eglam and his speech are in the silver chair. I meant to quote it here, but rereading it just now, it's not exactly quotable. It's very stirring in context. A humble, deeply pessimistic man, steadfastly refusing to believe comfortable lies in favor of what he knows to be true and, in so doing, giving others the strength to resist and reassert their own will over powerful mind control. It's sobering how relevant the scene is in current, real-world circumstances where so many of us have been led into seeing reality and facts as being negotiable. It was my introduction to the series, so imagine my confusion as a 10-year-old when I finally find other Narnia books and it's all about English school children going through wardrobes instead of fantasy world hijinks with giants and Narnia fighting in international politics. The headspin that came from trying to reread them as an adult and realizing the context of the Callums too struck me quite hard. I was dating a girl recently, and I showed her my PSP. I have it since 2007, original battery and everything, and I play PSX games from time to time. When I showed it to her, she said, "What are you, 12?" I felt very small and childish, but maybe I shouldn't have. Thankfully we are not dating anymore. Edit. Wow, I never thought this comment would be getting so much replies. Thank you so much for the love you are showing. You really made my evening smile. This is exactly it. My wife and I share some hobbies but not all. We game together ever since BW Game Boys were a thing and paint together, but some hobbies I don't understand. Like her collections, but I always like to hear her talk and get excited over new stuff she acquired or new things she can create. It's her I'm interested in. The hobby is just the cherry on the pie. You have to be actively interested in each other if anything is to work. It's not about the hobbies themselves, but your partner. We're friends since high school but been married for only a decade and not even close to being bored with each other. When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the desire to be very grown up. In youth, the time for bed was tough. I couldn't stand to wait. When soon was never soon enough, and later far too late. The summers stretched an age ahead. An hour seemed a day. Be patient, child, my father said, don't wish your life away. And so the time would shuffle on, with every moment spent. But that was then, and now it's gone. I don't know where it went. I was an electrician and gave it up for all the same reasons. I now work as a theater electrician. The work culture is like night and day. I'm surrounded by artists. I work with people of all flavors of LGBTQ and nobody has a problem with anybody. The money kind of sucks, but I wake up every day excited to go to work. The other thing I like is that in theater, everybody seems to understand that we're all in this together and striving for the same goal. Compare this to the trades where everybody is only focused on their own work and couldn't care less about what anybody else is doing. Sometimes I'll run an audio cable alongside my lighting cable to help out the audio techs. But in regular construction, a plumber will cut down one of my conduits to run his pipe through and won't say a word to me. Yep, those are the permanent scowl fellas with the goatees, trucker hats and the sunglasses. Also, usually accompanied by a sleeveless t-shirt or work shirt. They seemed totally conditioned to never show any positive emotion or really express themselves at all, besides by acting tough or projecting a sense of anger, since that is seen how an ideal alpha male breadwinner is supposed to behave in their peer group. They also go to great lengths to avoid appearing friendly, weak, agreeable or sensitive, emphatic in any way, since that would signal to their peers that they are too effeminate or emotional and therefore must not be a real man somehow. Someone told me recently that the cute bag I got was childish. It's a dragon, with a window for displaying enamel pins. I like collecting pins. I like dragons. What's wrong with having a cute backpack, purse in this hellscape of a world we live in? I work, I pay my bills, I take care of myself and my pets, and I'm getting married in a month. I'm an adult. So what if I like cute things? I'd rather have my shiny dragon bag than your boring ass brown leather generic bag from Target, Susan. When I was 29-30, I went through this phase where I felt like I had to start acting my age. I put a bunch of my horror and band tees in storage. I started buying generic clothes, using plain bags, dulling my makeup down, buying bland furniture, etc. I had just had my second child and was entering my 30s and thought it was time to grow up. It made me less than fulfilled. About a year ago I started exploring different styles and things I enjoy. I came across my packed up tees and put one on and remembered how much I missed it. I'm 32 now and wear those tees every day. I wear purses from Spirit Halloween, and a gallon of goth makeup when the kids give me enough time to put it on. Movie posters are framed and adorn our house in every room. And I'm back to collecting horror memorabilia. I work and pay my bills and take care of my kids. What I wear or collect or enjoy doesn't interfere with that. The only thing childish about what interests me are those who judge me for it. Enjoy your purse. It sounds absolutely lovely. I love dragons as well. True, humor makes life great. I love goofing around. But on the other hand, time and place are important. It is immature and annoying to make a bunch of jokes when someone is trying to have a serious conversation with you, and it can make life harder for the people around you. I guess one example would be my dad. Whenever we asked him about end-of-life planning, he shut us down with comedy routines. So when he did actually decline and die, nobody knew what he wanted. He was too immature to cut the jokey crap and level with us. Ex of mine gave me shit because I have several expensive gaming computers, a few thousand in Star Wars Lego sets, and spend the majority of my income on my cats. I asked her to ballpark her average spent on makeup, her streaming subs, her clothes, her concerts. I said hobbies are only a problem when they get in the way of life. I have a roof over my head, a good truck, and neither me or my cats want for food. It doesn't matter if I spent every dollar I made on GPUs and cat toys. It's my money to spend. I told her if she doesn't like my hobbies or my spending habits, she's free to get back in her pose gear and leave. She did. And I've spent every second afterward forgetting about her, and playing with my cats. I always think of Simon Pegg's quote on geekdom in this kind of discussion. Being a geek is all about being honest about what you enjoy and not being afraid to demonstrate that affection. It means never having to play it cool about how much you like something. It's basically a license to proudly emote on a somewhat childish level rather than behave like a supposed adult. Being a geek is extremely liberating. Now obviously his quote is more a defense of being a geek, but that last bit is something I always think about. I'm an adult, and as an adult I make the choice and I give myself license to have an almost childlike excitement about the things I like, and it doesn't diminish my adulthood in my opinion. As someone, M33, who's never been more confident about themselves, work and life in general, I fully agree. I have two coworkers, M18 and M21, and they constantly try to outdo Iakatha, and the youngest tried that with me, too. I was probably like that when I was their age, too. Hell, I've noticed my confidence level rising since I became a dad 17 months ago. I don't feel the need to go head to head over something irrelevant anymore. Very happy about that. Can confirm, even though my sister came to this rock when I was already 18, still had to be the man of the house because her father, and I'm using that term so generously, I could deduct it on my taxes, decided to fuck off and abandoned her and the rest of the family. And my mother is a useless narcissistic piece of garbage who had to, and I swear to God I'm not making this up, asked me, her goddamn son, to educate my sister because she wasn't listening to my mother's every instruction and was just doing silly kids stuff. Now I'm in therapy and the only person I can blame isn't even there anymore. As I walked out of the house and never turned back. I still miss my little sister, though.